Hello. Why is it so high? I'm short. Here, let me put something under here. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're here. It's like, I don't know. Anyway. Hello. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Pamela. Welcome. I'm going to tell you right up front, I apologize. A little off today, a little frazzled, a little out of sorts. So just bear with me.
You got a trip.
I did shrink. And I leave tomorrow to go to Italy, and I have not packed.
That's why you're frazzled.
I have not finished a video that I have to have done before I go. Yeah. And you know how I had that hip flexor problem? That's better. However, on Saturday, I did the thing all stitchers fear doing. I stepped on a needle, and it went in the bottom of my foot, all the way to the top of my foot. Just enough for me to pull it out. So I've had a little bit of pain with that. So yeah, I've just had I've had a week. So I'm going to do my best today. I also at about 1 o'clock 1 or 2 came down with a migraine. Not a big migraine, a little migraine. And I'm always off too, Pam, but I'm especially off. Like if on the off factor, it's pretty high. Yeah, the needle. When I did it, I'm like, that didn't hurt that bad. Had to go get a tetanus shot, antibiotics, and yeah, it wasn't, not a drop of blood, just a clean. So vacation is it's a girls' trip. It is Lila and my mom and I, along with some crafters. Betsy, Sika, Diana, Leanne, there's several of us. I don't know, Lila and my mom and I were going, and then Cammie's going too. Cammie's never been to Europe. So we were planning it, and the others jumped on board, so it'll be fun. Yes, I did get the TDAP. Yep. Okay, so here's the thing. I normally wouldn't go live the day before a trip because I always wait to pack. The problem is Altenew. They threw me a little curveball. They have what I think is their best release of the entire year, and it's today. In fact, it was going to be tomorrow, and when I told them that I would be traveling and I loved it, they said they would move it to today, and I'm very excited because this is a fantastic release from Altenew. In fact, you've never actually heard me say this, but this is like a release where I could see myself doing the whole bundle, release bundle. That's not something that, usually there's some things that appeal more or less. This one, it's fantastic. There's holiday, a little non-holiday. It's really, really good. So, a toothpick, that'd be worse.
When I was a kid, I stepped on a toothpick. Yeah.
Needle's clean cut, thin needle. It was okay. Oh, but last night it was so much pain. Oh my gosh, it was awful. But today is much better. Okay, so I need to get started because I spent 3 days, I think, prepping stuff to share with you. Right, Robin, I get it. I spent like 3 days prepping stuff for you. For me to share today. So I want to get through as much as I can. But let me show you some special things going on over at Altenew, okay? First of all, there is an exclusive offer, and that is 45% off the double-sided adhesive sheets that I love so much from Altenew. So it's a good time to stock up. And you can see 2 peeks of some cards there. I didn't make those cards, but I'll be using those products today. So you got to use my code. It's just for the next couple days. That's a great, great offer. Highly recommend that product. The next deal is you can get free US shipping through the 8th, and that is on orders of $49 or more, which is fantastic. All of this is under special offers in the YouTube description below. And then I think there's 2 more things, right, Mike? Okay, Cozy Comfort Retreat. I had talked about this in a live already. I'm one of the teachers for this. There is a discount code to save you money. The information's in the YouTube description below. They did add to the product page kind of peeks of some of the products that they are including in the Cozy Comfort Retreat. So if some of you wanted to kind of get a peek at some of the things, you can see that on their product page. And I don't think you need a code for that. And then last but not least, do you have one more? No, okay. Well, I'll just tell you, they do have a bunch of products on sale too in their weekly sale category. That's linked in the top of the YouTube description below. Yeah, I did cut like this part of my thumb, of my hand, with Tim Holtz scissors years ago. And that was the last time I had gotten a tetanus shot. So, yeah, okay. Leanne is here, good, okay. So here's the thing. I think I'm gonna first go through and show you a lot of the products from this release, almost all of it, and then we'll start making cards. I'll go through it very quickly because I use a lot of it in the cards that I'm making, all right? So remember that we have, hi Andrew, I love you too. Good to see you. I have in the YouTube description below all those ways to save. So many things going on. Oh, Betsy, Diana, and Leanne are here. Some of my fellow travelers. Diana is going with us. Yep, I'm glad you're all here. Yes, Deanna asked, can we pass along to manufacturers that we want more stencil sets, allow us to color the background, please? I say that to them all. So yes, the request has been put in because that's what I like to. Okay, so let's start looking at some of the products and then we'll jump in. This is the Gerber Daisy Keyhole die set, and it actually, my first few cards use this set. When I saw this, they show me the images like a couple months ahead of time when we do a Zoom call, and I said, please send me 2 of that set. So they sent me 2 because I know I'm gonna mass produce with this. It actually makes this size, Gerber Daisy, that's true size, with the leaves. This is a keyhole die system. So it's one big die that cuts the big petals, another die that cuts like the inner layers, and then the centers. I don't know where my dies went. And then the leaves. And it is a keyhole, so you just line up the triangle at the center of each of your die cuts and glue it together, and you end up with a beautiful daisy. And Gerber Daisy, my favorite flower. So you can see if you have one at the center, it fills it nicely, or you can cover a card with it. And you know I'll be doing both of those today. So this is my absolute favorite from the release because I love Gerber Daisies too. And the details, so good, so good. So I'm gonna be showing that because I may or may not have gone overboard. Okay. Now another one is the Lush Botanicals Poinsettia. So there is a die set that you cut the die cuts, and then you put the die cuts in the embossing folder to give it texture. And you end up with a lot, this isn't complete. I don't have the centers on there, but see all that texture that you get? Definitely worth it. This reminds me of that African daisy that I did a while ago. So I have a bunch of pieces prepped, so hopefully we'll have time to do something with that today. Hi, Richard. Everybody's here today. What's the deal? I'm so glad you're all here. My guys are here. Yay. And Christopher just texted me right before I went live. It's funny. Yeah, I like Gerber Daisies too. I also like Poinsettias. So the Gerber Daisies is just a die set. Here, this is a die and stencil set. It's an embossing cut, they call it, which adds even more texture. This is your favorite? Altenew said this is their favorite. I'm guessing that's Mitzi here. Yeah, it's a poinsettia, and it's just beautiful. And I think you could use like different amounts of layers to get different sizes. But that's another one that I have some pieces prepped that hopefully we will get to. If not, I'll just at least demo some of the products. Okay, a few sentiment things. This is a Holiday Essentials die set. So there is the shadow die and the words. And great basic holiday sentiments. But the With Love, I'm going to use with non-holiday cards too. So I actually used the With Love today. I really like the style of the season's greetings. I like when my sentiments are centered, like center alignment, like these are, because they look good in the center of a card or offset. It's just me. I like them center aligned, and these are all centered aligned. So anyway, this is the Holiday Essentials die set, a good basic one to have. There's also the holiday messages. These are all like longer messages, some smaller ones that would be good to either go on the front of a card or on the inside of the card. I think for holidays, it's nice to have longer sentiments that go in the inside of cards because you're not writing a super long message on each card usually, but they do also work on the front. Really nice for a simple card too. So that is the holiday messages, and I don't remember if I used that or not. We'll see. All right, this one I was going to use, but we don't have enough time. This is the Where Nature Meets Home, and it is a layering set. First of all, there is this one stencil that's great for snow. They're not perfect dots, which is nice. And then there's all of these stencils that layer up, and they layer easily because there's etching on it that helps you to line them up. But this is one where when you stencil it, you end up with a scene where the whole background is stenciled. If you watched my live a few weeks ago, I did one where it was a swan and the whole background ended up colored. This is an example of one of those. You can kind of see the little scene. So it has the trees, the landscape, and there's this little house, but you could either, cover the house or, chop it down a little bit if you wanted to. This would look really nice with some deer and trees that I'll show you in a moment. But this is one, if you like one layer cards, it's a great one for creating a nice scene. I'm not using this one right now, but here's the thing, all of these products are linked in the YouTube description below. If you click that link and go to their website, they have tons of examples there on that product page. And Brianne is putting the links to each of these products as I talk about them in the description, or in the chat. Thank you for doing that, Brianne. Oh, Brianne just put a link to my swan card video. She's quick, Mike. She's quick, and she does it on her phone. That's crazy. I was very excited to see this set, and I'm hoping I have time to use it. I have a card prepped for it because it is a good old layering stamp set. Haven't had many of these lately, but what's nice about them is they're easy to line up. They're very easy to line up. There's a code on here that tells you how to go about lining them up, but you end up with a layered, realistic looking bow, an ornament, this little berry, little sprig, and a little tree. The tree, if you kind of skip the trunk, you can actually do in browns to make it look like a pine cone or make it just look like a little sprig. I love this one because I feel like it could be used year round, and you can easily make a wreath by stamping and rotating 4 times. But I have a card planned with that'd be an ornament. Let me see, where'd it go? It's out of, the full bundle's out of stock? Holy mackerel. Really? Okay, so here's a little peek at some of the images, but the ornament won me over, and I hope to be using it later. If I don't get a chance to use it, at least I will show you the card I made, okay? Holiday Adornments, that's called, Holiday Adornments. Another very, very clever layering stamp set. I'm not using this one today because I feel like it needs more than I can bring it right now. This is the layering stamp set called Scenes in a Sip. So what it is there is a mug and like the shadow for it. And you can put different scenes in it, these layered scenes. One has a cottage, one has like the night sky, and you can make it look like that. See? Isn't that cute? So you can make it look like, you know, in your hot chocolate or your coffee, you have a little scene. Now, if you don't want it to be in a coffee mug, you can just do it on a circle and it'll look like, you can make it look like an ornament or a snow globe or just a window. Isn't that fun? And here are some examples. So in it, you can see how you get these different layered looks. And then you just add the cup to it. And there's even a shadow for the cup. I love that. They do recommend in their packaging what colors you can use. Is my white balance not set again? Is it? No, it's fine. Okay. Anyway, so that is Scenes in a Sip, a great set. I think this one will sell out quickly. It's got nice sentiments like warm wishes in every sip, warm hugs, and a latte love. Savor the warmth of the season. Really clever. Very unique. I agree. Very unique. So that's a good one too. Okay, here's one that I'm crazy about. You know that I have used, hi Abraham, I have used a lot of the tree layering die sets from Altenew. This one is fantastic because it's called the Jack Pine Tree. Now you can make it a pine tree. If you want to, you can cut extra layers and make it really full, but I kind of like this, I don't know, natural look to it. But here's the cool thing. If you do the top layer, you can make it snow, okay? So see how here they did oranges with all the layers and did like a fall scene. Here they did the top layer as white and made it snow. Isn't that cool? And if you wanted to, you could add little ornaments to it. You'll see later there's like little deer and stuff you can put with it. Or you could add this to, remember that layering stencil set that I showed you earlier? This one? You could put the tree at the forefront of that. All right, yeah, Altenew really did well with this release. I'm very, very excited about it. Here's the thing. This stuff makes me happy. I don't know what else to say. I get just as excited about these things as you do. Yes, I will be, I have a card using that tree and I'll show you how I made it snow, okay? This is an adorable little set and I like the sentiments a lot in it. This is a cute, this is called their Mini Delight, where it's a die and a small stamp set that go together. There's an adorable little mailbox with an envelope, so you can put it in the mailbox, and then a great little set to go with it. And I really like the sentiment that says, sending a little paper hug, special delivery for you. These are always nice because it's a nice little bundle that has a really good price point. Okay, so this is the special delivery Mini Delight stamp and die bundle. I might use a sentiment from this today. I really thought about using this in the front of that stenciled scene, but I just ran out of time. Yeah, there will be, somebody asked, Christmas already when we haven't done Halloween and Thanksgiving. There will be more Thanksgiving and holiday stuff. Companies do often come out with holiday this early because, believe it or not, but a lot of crafters start early. So by having some of the holiday early and then they do some of the other holidays and more holiday then, or more Christmas, it allows those who like to start early to get a head start. I'm not one of them. I mean, I make cards in the summer, but I don't like mass produce cards this early. Okay, this one's really fun. This is the Winter Woodland. Now there's a stamp set and a die set. So let me show you. This is a stamp set. This is a background. I love the style of this. I always love this kind of folk art look. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then what's cool is there's a tree, and that tree lines up with the inside of this. See? So what you can do, oops, is you can stamp this maybe like with red ink on red cardstock. Then die cut out the tree. See how it cuts out the tree? And then if you want to, you can use this tree, do it like gold embossing powder on red cardstock and pop it in place. So you could either use this as a background or like pop that in. There are lots of nice sentiments, which I will be using today, and coordinating dies for those. And let me show you some of the examples. Mike is breaking things. Okay, so here is just the tree cut out. Here's the negative space with the tree cut out. And you can also pop in the tree. Yeah, the Nordic look I like too. Here they used the that SIP stamp set that I showed you before and just used it as a background. This is just for coloring. But they have lots of examples over on the website for this. But it's nice because you can stamp this and layer it on. You could do like do a shaker window with the tree set back a bit. Lots of things you can do with it. And this is the Winter Woodland stamp set and die set. Mike, were there questions while I'm going through this?
Yeah. I might have been.
Oh.
I might have been out of the room when that came out.
The flower that I did, I will talk about it when we get to it. It was cardstock to start. Okay, this is the Festive Greenery die set. I didn't use this one, but it's a nice one to add on, and I might end up adding in this guy into my poinsettias if I get to that card today. But this allows you to create different foliage for the holidays, and you could use it year round. Nice thing about this is like you can put a flower over the berries and use that greenery with different products. So like you could use that greenery and just put, have it coming out from a flower. So you can use that all the time, make the berries non-holiday too. So, but this image I think would be nice, kind of peeking out from that poinsettia that I haven't finished. See how it'd be nice to kind of go along with it. All right, so that's the Festive Greenery. Almost done. Here are two more. This one I might use later on. It's the Snowy Footpath. This is a 3D embossing folder that gives like a very realistic snowy woods look. And then this is the Forest Friends Silhouette die set. This would look nice with that tree die set I showed you earlier. So you can use some of these elements with that tree, or you can use it with that stenciled set from before. So all of these can mix and match really nicely. I agree. One of the things that Altenew does that I love is they now put their dies on acetate with an outline, and there's tape on there. And the tape always stays on the acetate, so you can easily put your die back where it belongs and you don't tear your packaging. And then there's this like little lip that you can tuck it into. I love that they do that. So this is Forest Friends Silhouette and Snowy Footpath. I'm gonna skip that one. Okay, this is very excited about. A few months ago, I did a live, and in it that we had a Craft Your Life bundle that had a bunch of products in it. It was a big bundle, and one of the products was an embossing folder and die set to create like really textured frame die cuts. And this release, they have this available separately. So you get the stamps, you get the embossing folder and the dies. What you do is you die cut first, put it in the embossing folder, and look at the texture you get on the frames. Aren't those cool? So I'll be using these today in a few different ways. They create a nice focal point on a card. Isn't that cool? So you can use it in different ways. All right, so this is the decorative frames, and I will be using that today. It's a die and embossing folder. Okay. And then finally, here is the bundle. This is the Craft Your Life project kit for this month. You can subscribe to a lot of these and you get a huge savings, or you can buy them individually at a little bit of a higher price point, but this is a bundle. So these products are only available in this bundle, but I've got junk here. This is a really cool bundle. Altenew's been really good in the past several months about putting a lot in their Craft Your Life kits. So in here is a stamp set called Windows to Stillness. That's what this bundle is called. It has all these beautiful images and sentiments. Let me get the images out. Actually, I need to show you the rest of it. Then there's a die set included, and you can create these different window scenes and like a window a bench in front of the window. What do you call those, Mike? Window seat? Window seat with some pillows on it. So you can create different types of windows. Now, this is what's cool. There's also a stencil set. Oh, this is so cool. So there's a stencil set that shows you or allows you to create different window scenes showing through the window, like the ones you see here. Okay, and let's look at this. You can see some of the different looks that you can get. So I really like that all of this is included here. Let me put these in here. I don't want to lose these. There is also an embossing folder, which I'll be using later because it won my heart. There's also an embossing folder that does like just a texture. A fun texture, and I'll be using this on a lot of my backgrounds today. So this is part of the Windows to Stillness bundle. You only can get it in a bundle, but you can see a lot of the different cards that you're able to create with the bundle. You've got the dies, the stencils, the stamps, and I like how you can make it look like the inside or outside. There's different ones there, and how you can layer up the stamp sets. They also recommend some other products that work with it. But really, with the dies, you can have anything showing through. In fact, I had considered making it so that you looked through, doo-be-doo, hold on. So like you look through the window on the front of the card and the tree was on the inside of the card. So you can mix and match this with a lot of your sets. But I like that different window options are included. You can see there's the rounded, the rectangle, and added rounded, lots of options. Okay, so that bundle is the Windows to Stillness. The embossing folder is part of that bundle, and I'm gonna be using that embossing folder a bit today. Okay, one more thing. No, I'm gonna have a hard time finding everything today. Okay. Oof, so many things, so many things. One more thing. You know how I love Altenew's foam tape? Look what they have now. They have, let's see, let's get all this down. There are foam strips and foam circles. Oof. Okay, so foam strips. Let's see. Zoink. Okay, so there are foam strips, foam squares, and foam circles. So here is a foam strip, and they're available in different thicknesses. This is the 1/16 of an inch, and there's a bunch of thin foam strips. You know I love their foam tape on a roll, but these are nice because they're thin, okay? So there are the strips, so that's a bunch of strips there. This is the squares, and this is nice because there's different size squares. I don't know if you, and strips, I don't know if you can kind of see, there's a bunch of different sizes there. So, and these teeny ones, nice, okay? And the release paper comes off easily. Then there are the dots. This is what I'm excited about. So I don't know if you can see here, there's like bigger dots, medium, and small. I will be using these later. If you've ever seen me do like a pendulum card or a spinner card, these are really nice for that, to have a round foam adhesive. And if you know, the foam adhesive the circle foam adhesive that I usually use is sometimes hard to get. Yes, now the nice thing is if after you've used it, you'll have this negative space, and I just cut pieces off of this for, you know, when I don't let this go to waste. I just cut some of that. Yeah, the yellow release paper is nice because you can see it easily. Now, all the options I just showed you are also available in the thicker 1/8 of an inch, okay? Yes, they're in the visual supply list, Monica, yep. So see how those are thicker than the first ones I showed you. So these, you have circles, squares, and strips, and they're available in 1/8 of an inch thick, which is thicker, or 1/16 of an inch thick, which is thinner. And I'll use some of these today. You can peel the negative space off so that it's, so you have just the dots, or you can leave them on and take them out as needed. How do I store my Altenew foam rolls? I just have them sitting on a shelf, piled up, nothing fancy. Because I bring it to my desk, so I don't want to like hook it on anything. And I have a lot of I have all their different options. So these are nice too. Yeah, nothing goes to waste with those. Nice and strong. It's the same foam tape as their rolls, so I know that I'll be happy with it. Okay, let's see. Was there another question, Mike? The Coral Reef Wonders Craft Your Life Project Kit, it is still not back in stock. It will be back in stock, and when it comes back, I will be going live, just not from Italy. All right. What?
No.
Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, so let's make a card. There we go. Okay, let's use, where did I put it? See, already can't find things, Mike. Let's use, oh, for pity's sake. I want to use the Gerber Daisy die set, but I have to find it. Here, while I'm looking, oh, I already set it out. There it is. This is what they call a keyhole layering system, which makes it really easy to make flowers. All right, so we're gonna make one right now. But I also put a bunch together, okay? So see, look at all this. Somewhere in here is my die that creates these. I don't know what I did with it. Look at that. Okay, let's create a flower. Let's do a blue flower. Okay, you can see I've got a bunch ready to go here. But let's create a blue flower, and I'm going to show you how I went about making these. Now I did different types. Some, can you scroll it? Some are made with all the same color of cardstock, and some are made with a mix. I'm going to show you how I do it with just all of the same color of cardstock. All right, and then we'll start making cards. This. Okay, this is a fantastic set. So when you use the die and you cut them out, remember it was one big mama die that cut all of these at once. They also engrave right next to the little triangle hole a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know what order to go in. It really isn't that important to go in that order, but you can. There's 6, 7, and then these 2 last ones. All right, so I'm going to color these. If you wanted to, you definitely could skip coloring with these, and they will still be fantastic thanks to all the layers. But if you want to add a little visual interest, you can add some shading. So let's get some ink. Let's go with Hydrangea. This is a beautiful color from Altenew. The cardstock that I'm using is actually from Concord & Ninth. I had some scraps, so I decided to use it. This is Concord & Ninth Bluebell cardstock. And I'll use the Hydrangea ink. All right, oh man, where did my blending tool go? Oh, well, I'll use this one. Uh-oh, I need to clean my feet. I need to clean the feet of my inkstand. If your inkstand moves when you ink, that means you just need to take like an alcohol swab and clean the feet off. It means they're dirty. All right, so all I'm gonna do here is put quick color kind of at the center fading out. Now most of the center of this bottom layer, the one that has number 1, will be covered. So you don't have to really worry so much about the center of those. It's the higher numbered ones, the ones that'll be at top, that you'd want to think about that more. I'm just adding some shading here. You could even go darker at the center if you wanted to than what I'm doing, which I might do. Maybe add some blue in with it. But I just kind of do a quick from the inside out. then let's see. So those will do the flowers, like the basic flower petals. Then there's those inside kind of petals. Let's go darker on that. I'm gonna go darker with the blue. Let's do azurite. This will add bright dark blue to it. And let's do that kind of at the center only. Most of that won't be seen, but these top layers, they will be seen. Then I'm gonna go, I think I'll go, let's go super dark on that. You can change, if you Google Gerber daisies, sorry, I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time today. Really out of sorts. If you Google Gerber daisies, you will see lots of different ways you can do coloring. And this, by the way, is called, what's it called? Ultraviolet, aka Brienne the Link Ninja Loveland color. This is her favorite color. And I'm gonna do that like purple, this dark purple on these two layers here. Then I'll leave those plain. So we have some contrast. Isn't it a great release? Yes, Gran is going with us. It started out as just the family. Colin can't go. He is co-oping right now. We did a trip with him recently, so this is Lila's trip. All right, so let's see. Can you see that there is a triangle opening there? Let's zoom in while we do this. Okay. There's a triangle opening here. This is the keyhole design system that makes Altenew's layering die sets just a world easier to use. I mean, they're just fantastic. They have lots of different keyhole sets. Most of them are flowers, but there are some that are not flowers. That tree that I showed you that I'll use later, that is not a flower set, obviously. And it does have that keyhole layering. All right, are there any questions, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. What you got?
How do the sizes of the new embossing frames compare to the sizes of the older ones?
I am not sure. I don't remember the size of the older ones, so we'll have to just, I'm not sure. How's that for not helpful? Eesh, I'm not sure. All right. I was totally not helpful. I'm not sure. Maybe Altenew would know. All right, so keyhole, this is layer 1. It says there's a 1 engraved here. I put adhesive around that little triangle, and I put number 2 on top, lining up the triangle hole. See the little triangle hole? Then adhesive and number 3. And these all can be different colors, or you start with darker at the bottom, working to lighter at the top. But I find it easier just to use the same color and add inking to it. So that's all the way up to 5, and the whole time you can see the keyhole, right? The keyhole opening. Around that, we'll put 6. Ooh, I like that pop of purple there. 7. Oops. Now here's the thing. I am putting liquid glue on wet ink. It's not going to want to dry right away, so you got to be patient with it. I'm just impatient. Then these last 2, the keyhole is still, it's hard to tell, but you can still see through the keyhole all the way to the white cardstock behind that's just laying on that. Okay, there we go. I just like choked on my own spit. All right, so there we go. Look how pretty that is. Now, the center, I cut this from Altenew Smoky Quartz glitter cardstock. Line up the triangle. Now, we need it to be, cover up the triangle, right? So there's one last one that just covers it up. And look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Ah, I love it. I love it, okay? So that one is all made with the exact same color of cardstock for all of those petals. So that's what I did for like some of these pink ones here. I did the same kind of process, okay? All started with the same color cardstock. Now this one here, Like the bottom layer, I used a darker pink. Then like the middle layers, like layers 2 and 3, I did a medium pink. And then the top layers, I did a lighter pink. So you can change it up however you want. Isn't that fun? Another thing that you can do is like do maybe a yellow cardstock and then, you know, put some red or pink ink on it. Do some really fun blending. But I've done a bunch here and I have a bunch more to put together. All right, there are also leaves which are not layering, but they do have like an impression on them, the details. So we'll ink those up as we go. Okay, so I have a bunch of those. Isn't that easy to put together? So pretty. And really, even if you don't ink it, you would end up with a beautiful flower without even the inking. Here's a little cheat thing, watch this. This is the same cardstock. I'm just gluing it together without inking. I'm doing it a little fast. Hey Mike.
Yeah.
There's a fan over there underneath the seat. Do you mind turning it on for me over here?
Yeah.
I'm dying.
Somebody asked how long it took to cut all those daisies out.
I don't know. It takes time. Everything takes time. But aren't they worth it? Okay, so what you could do is just layer the inks, or sorry, the cardstock. This is all uninked. And then you could come in when it's all done and just do blending over the top, and that's a fast way to do that. So you don't have to do each layer, and then you can come in with the others and add it on top, okay? So that's just another way you can do it. Or you can skip the inking. I oftentimes like to skip inking. Okay, so let's play. Let's make a clear card first with the Gerber daisy. We'll use this guy. All right, I need to get a piece of acetate. I've got a piece of acetate here. Be careful, one of those goes heat and one goes...
This one's a heater.
No, one way if you turn it, it's not heat. Hold on. You guys set... No, you go to here. That should be fan. If not, it's okay. I don't know why. Anyway, I had a headache earlier, so. Okay, I have a piece of acetate here. This is heavyweight acetate, and I will cut it to be 5.5 inches by 8.5. That blue cardstock from before is Bluebell cardstock from Concord and Ninth. I think it'd be okay. Okay, I gotta find my, here we go. Told you I was gonna be all over the place. It is hot in here. I was cold before, that's why I have a sweater on. My sweater has different Italy places on it. I figured I should wear that. Okay, so this is heat-resistant acetate from Pink Fresh, from our friends at Pink Fresh. It comes with a backing on both sides so it stays nice and crisp. What I'm gonna do is score that right down the middle at 4.25 inches. So I'm just basically making a note card. It is 4.25 by 5.5. Now the key to folding your acetate is really just to put the two ends together, hold those, and then press down. Okay, so there we have a folded note card. You know what, I need to save this. Hold on, this is just not going, something's wrong with my camera. All right, so there's a note card. Now, I plan to make a clear card where like this flower kind of hangs off the edge. So I need to make my card narrow so that it'll fit into an envelope when the flower's hanging off. So I'm gonna cut some off of the edge. I think I'll make it 3.25 inches wide. So now I have a 5.5 inch tall note card that is 3.25 inches wide. So now this can hang off the edge and still fit in the envelope. All right. I was gonna make it blue, but I prepped all the pieces in pink. So maybe I should just do pink. We'll change it. hold on. Okay. Now, I did think it would be fun to use an embossing folder on this acetate, okay? Acetate sometimes takes an embossing folder well, sometimes it will only take a little bit of the embossing, but I thought it'd be fun with the frame. So you can just test out whatever you have, but I thought it'd be fun to have this frame like right here on the front of the card, and our flower would be like in it, okay? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open up my card. I'll put it in so that the edge of the acetate is like right along the inside edge of this square frame. So we're gonna have a square frame on the bottom edge or the bottom right of our card. I'll show it to you after I run it through. So I'm gonna hold it there, okay? Yeah, you can emboss acetate. You can. Now for Altenew embossing folders in the Empress, I just use my magnetic mat and a metal shim on top of a clear plate. For Altenew 3D embossing folders, just follow whatever sandwich that your die cut machine recommends for a 3D folder. So look at this. Can you see it? See? Very subtle, but isn't that cool? Another thing you could do if you want it, and that's only on the front, right up against, I have it like going off the edge. Another thing you could do is just glue a frame on there. Okay? Totally up to you. But I thought that was neat. A little something fun, a little subtle. All right, now I'm gonna glue this guy right there. And we need some leaves, all right? Let me get some leaves out. There we go. There's some leaves. So I plan to make a bunch of these, okay? So I would go and I'd ink all of my leaves at once. And you will see I am not making a lot of effort here. This is called fast inking. I'm just gonna take some mountain pine and just do kind of shading, heavy on the bottom, more towards light towards the tip. You could actually even start with a lighter cardstock if you wanted to. And actually, I don't even need to ink this far down because only a little bit of my leaves will peek out. But I was there, so I did it. I don't think you need to do a lot of inking because the focus is on that flower. All right. Hey, Mike, are there little baby wipes somewhere? Okay. So we're gonna have little leaves fly out. But first, let's glue this onto here. One thing I could have done is use some Altenew adhesive tape or adhesive sheets on the back. Just that's fine. You have a lot of different options. And when gluing onto acetate, you can use liquid glue. It takes a long time for it to dry. So I don't want to do that in a live. So I'm just using some Altenew double-sided tape. Just putting some strips on the back here. And we'll pick this up. And we'll add it to hang off. But I don't want it to hang off so much I can't put it in an envelope. So I'm just making sure that I stay within 4 1/4 inches wide. So see, I'm putting the edge here and it is within 4 1/4 inches wide. So we're good, okay? So that's stuck to the front. Now we need some leafage stuff. That one looks good there. These I'll just do liquid adhesive. I'll put liquid adhesive on the top of the bottom here and just slide it in like that. Look at that. And then this one, this is too long. Why use scissors when you can just tear? Oh, that's my life. Okay, tuck one here. Let's put some glue on top of this. he's too big. Let's try that again. There we go. There, like that. Okay? Now, it looks icky from the other side. So, what we'll do is we'll take circle dies. Let's see, like that. Let's go a little small. No, we can go big. All right, I need some of that same color of cardstock, the Bluebell. Oh gosh, I'm running low on Bluebell. That's a very sad day. But this is one you can use whatever color cardstock that maybe you have a lot of. Let me just cut some ovals here, or sorry, some circles. Yeah, it is a beautiful die set. Okay, so this circle, let's see, I picked the biggest circle I could put behind it with that not being seen from the front, all right? Now, this will take some time to dry. I'm gonna use liquid adhesive to save time. So I'll use a little tape runner that will hold now and some strong liquid adhesive that I know will dry over time. So I'll flip it over and put that on the back. So now it looks pretty from the back, right? We need a place here to write our personal message. So let's do another Bluebell circle. We need to do two more circles. We're just basically putting lots of circles so that we have everything hidden. Here's another one. Now this one will go on the inside. So let's put some glue on that. Now I want it to line up. So I'll open up my card. I'm going to line this up with the adhesive facing up towards the camera, line it up with that circle, then close the back of the clear card down onto it. And that's where it goes. Now we need an oval back there. Hold on. Hey, I'm telling you, this is a great release. I'm sorry, don't blame me. I didn't design a single one of these products. This is all Altenew. All right, so another circle. Instead of using Bluebell, I'm using white, and this will get glued to the back of my card. This is where it'll hide that adhesive, but also this is where you can, do your hand stamped by Jennifer. And then I think I want a smaller white circle on here. This is where I'll say, hey, I miss you, love Jennifer. So see, it's all hidden, so it'll stand up really cool on display. When you open it, this is where your message will be. So you can add a sentiment over this however you want. Here's a card that I made off screen that's very similar. Okay, let me show you what I did add to that one. It's the same thing, except I added, see these little spriggy wiggies with little yellow flowers? Pop a little yellow flowers is nice. It would look pretty on here too. I thought I had some made, but I'm not seeing them. Oh, here they are. So this is an older itty bitty branches from Altenew. This is a much older set. It goes on sale a lot. But in here are a lot of great branches that work with any flower. But then there's also these that have like little flowers on them. What I like to do is just cut the little flowers off and add them wherever I want on my card. All right, you could use gemstones instead. You could use little die cuts, whatever you want. But I did little green sprigs from that Altenew itty bitty branches set, and then little yellow flowers. And that's what I'll add on here too. I feel like the little yellow flowers really pop against these colors. And I just glued them in between the flower, the big flower, and the leaves. Isn't that nice? So that's the itty bitty branches. That's an older set, but here's the thing. Oops. A lot of your older die sets go back and look, because oftentimes there's greenery or flowers that would work with whatever you're working on at the moment. I mean, this little sprig is great for just about anything. Another thing that you could do is, there's this holiday sprig one. You could cut little pieces off of some of those die cuts and have them tucked in. All right, now, one thing, I wanted the center of my Gerber daisy to be dark, like a darker brown, but I wanted it glittery. So what I did is, that's the Altenew Smoky Quartz, which is one of my favorite glitter cardstocks. It's like it's like not as yellow of a glitter. I can't find a sheet of it. It's all upstairs because I was cutting all these. But you can see it's like this, it's like a champagne-ish kind of glittery. But I wanted it to be darker. So what I did is I just take a dark brown alcohol marker and color on top of it. So you can use Copics, this is an Olo, anything you want, and that will make your glitter cardstock whatever color you want it to be. But I like that darker. That's kind of what a lot of the Gerber daisies have. All right? Yeah, it's good to mix and match things, different sets, and you can mix and match them with pots and vases and such. But isn't that fun? So now this will stand up nicely. You can, another nice thing about acetate cards is you can put little gemstones and they kind of float wherever you want on it. Like they'll just float on the, looks like they're floating on the acetate. For sentiment, I was thinking about these, not that one. Let's see. Thinking of You Always. Like just kind of going like that, or no, here we go. Hold please. Just wanted you to say hello, or just wanted to say hello, like right there. All right. I know some of you don't like when I put my sentiments right on my focal point on that flower, but I like it there because that's where your eye goes. So I would do that, but you could put a smaller sentiment or a die cut word. Some people like to float their sentiments, that's fine too, but I usually like to put mine kind of going across the card. So I'd put it like right like that. These sentiments, I greatly apologize. I believe they're out of stock. This is one of the One and Go sets, oops, from Altenew. This is their more recent one. There is either a stamp set or a press plate. And you create the image, just one stamp image or one press plate image, then the die will cut them all out. And I used a press plate for mine, but you could use a stamp set, and look how crisp those turn out. I started with white cardstock and I did black. Here, I'll demo it. I'll demo the sentiment. But there you got this so far. Isn't that fun? I love this blue flower. Mom, look at this. Isn't that flower pretty, Mom?
That's beautiful.
Thank you. She usually comes in, the other day she came in and she goes, I really like this card. This is one of your best cards. She did it again. It was one Sika made, not me.
Wait. Hold on.
It's true. It's true.
Well, part of that is my fault because she said, ooh, this is a nice card. And I go, I think Jen did that one.
No.
It was that one
Sika did it.
Folded. Yeah, well.
It's okay, Mom.
Whatever.
I love you. Okay, let me show you how this works. This is the One Go Solid sentiment banners. Now, please keep in mind that Altenew has several different versions of this. Their older ones are all straight with like squared edges on the banner. And what they do is they come out with a few different stamp sets that work with the die. A few different press plates that work with that die. This is one of the newer ones. Oh, the measured size of the finished flower is about 3 inches. I'm just demoing this press plate. Now you could do the stamp set if you don't have a better press system, but this, I'm telling you, press plate is the way to go. You'll see. You put it onto the magnetic portion of your better press system. Now I'm doing this quick because we got a lot to share. Oh dear, it's been an hour. Oh. So I have lots of videos I've done showing how to use a press plates. And I bet money, oh Miriam, hi. I bet money that Brianne will add it in the chat. Mike, Brianne even put the product description sizes of the flowers. Mike's gonna get booted.
She's superhuman.
She is superhuman.
know.
This is true.
She's like ahead in time.
I don't get it. All right. This is Altenew Obsidian Black Pigment Ink is actually my favorite black ink to use with my better press and for my stamp sets too. So you could either stamp or do this. I would use the same ink for both. I'm using regular white cardstock for this, just like I would do if I was stamping. But the difference is the press plate will give me a much crisper image with one pass. So I inked it up. Cardstock is here. It floats on with a magnet, little magnets. Run it through your die cut machine and it presses it in and it'll leave a fantastic crisp result. No failing every time. I'm telling you, it is the greatest tool. I'm telling you. The better press. The past 2 years I've been saying it's like what you should ask for Christmas, and I'll say it again this year. And then all you have to do is, I know, it's another, I know there's more tools, but what I'm finding, then you just use the die to cut them all out at once. What I'm finding is the better press, I believe, is becoming like another major tool in the craft room because more and more companies are coming out with products. So it's kind of like you've got your stamping, you got your die cutting, and you got your better press system, like your MISTI, your die cut machine, and your better press system. The nice thing about the dies is the stamped image is a little bit bigger than the dies, so you get a nice cutout that doesn't have a white trim. I'll go ahead and cut it out. So you could do any colors you wanted, but let me cut this out real quick. And then I can use some of the sentiments on my cards. All right, so that is solid sentiment banners. But if you search on one go at Altenew, you'll see lots of different things. Lots of different sentiments like this that you can cut out a bunch at once. So see how it just cuts it out perfect. I didn't spray anything on the cardstock. The Obsidian Black ink is Altenew. In fact, mine is so loved and so much my best friend that I just bought a new one. So I could have two. If you get residue on your better press magnetic surface, what I do is I take a super, super thin piece of plastic. You could use press and seal, but a super thin piece of plastic like the packaging that a stencil set comes in, and I tape it on there, and then it's easier to clean off. No, better press is not for stamps. You'll need a MISTI for stamps. Okay, so that just gives you a little idea there. The other thing I wanted to do with this, I'm going to make this won't take long. That's what she always says. I'm going to make a shaped card, I think. Let's think. Let me think. Yeah, we're gonna make a shaped card. So let's cut this down. I'm gonna make a top folding card that is 3.5 by 5. So it's a top folding card that's 3.5 by 5. Then underneath here, underneath my mat, this is 4.25 by 5.5. What I'm going to do is cover this with flowers, but I want to stay in the blue lines. So what you can do is do one of these suckers where you scatter some flowers. I thought I had another. I don't know where I put it. Anyways, we're gonna do like.
What paint did you use with the better press?
I used white, Nina Classic Crust Solar White. I don't think you need to use the better press cardstock unless you really want to see that impression. So what I'm going to do is start with one that goes right into, like, you see how there are some petals that go right up to the bottom of that blue that's underneath. And I'm going to put that down. Okay, like that. Just bear with me. Then I'll put one right here. Do it like, I'm trying to stay within that blue that's behind it. And then this one, let's put it underneath. Like, go like that. This one I want on top though. There we go. Okay. Come on. There we go. More glue. Now, blue flowers would be pretty here too. Now, where did all my green flowers go? Green leaves. Over here. Now, I didn't ink my green leaves, but we're gonna just go with it anyways. Now, let's cover up all the white. And also, I'm gonna try to make my leaves, I want a lot of things to line up right with that blue edge that's showing through. So what will happen is that it'll be able to stand on those. So we'll just do this kind of thing. So we have some feet for it to stand on. Are there more questions, Mike? How is my back? My back is better. It's better. Much better. I think when I stepped on the needle, my back was like, I'm no longer important. No, it's better. I'm taking good care of it and hoping the long flight isn't torturous. So I'm just filling all these little gaps in. All right. This won't take long. Sorry about that. Here's the thing. Somebody said they like how quickly I put the leaves in. I overthink this kind of stuff a lot, but all I'm trying to do here is cover the white. So they may not be how like I normally would put them in, but the key here is covering up the white so it'll look like just flowers and leaves when the card is closed. So this one I can make smaller. It's going to go right up here and stick out the corner. And I'm trying to stay within the confines of that blue that's underneath. Is that the right word for that? Okay. Shoink. Staying in that blue area. And then one more over here. See, I tear my flowers. Who needs scissors when you can just tear? Or my leaves. I need more cut off there.
So people want to know what I'm going to be doing while you're gone.
Mike will be here at my house with the doggies. Ken is out in San Francisco, so Mike is with the doggies. Ken has a work trip. He's doing consulting. Look at that. Look at that. See? And it'll stand up. He will be working on pinball machines. That's what he'll be doing. There we go. Look at that. Do you craft with your friends when you travel together? Ish, I stitch. I do a ton of stitching while I travel. I prep a bunch of pieces before I go. I have a bunch of rainbows and things and butterflies and other stuff, all that stuff from Pashta that I've shown you in the past. And it's my favorite thing to do. I'm not good at sitting still, so that helps me. And making things for people always helps me. And it helps with my anxiety too. Because let's face it, Jennifer has anxiety. Isn't that fun? Don't these little sprigs, I forget what this set was called, but don't these little sprigs add some interest? Isn't that cool? Just those little pieces. I could add those little yellow flowers too, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do this. And then that goes right there. And look at that. Who does all the travel planning? My mom is currently on a mission to visit all her bucket list places, and it usually involves Mike or Lila or me or Colin or somebody to go with her, because we don't like her traveling by herself. So, and you could do the little flowers if you wanted. Isn't that fun? So now when it's standing on display, it looks like it's just flowers, but really it's a mini card that we covered. If you wanted to, you could make your mini card clear, but I don't think there's a reason if you cover it up with all those bits. So this is what I'm planning to make a bunch of. That's what all my prep is for. All right. Oh, where am I going? We're going to Italy. And we start in Venice. I don't know, Diana, where are we going? We start in Venice, we're spending a few days there, then we're doing a cruise, a celebrity cruise that goes from like Sicily to Montenegro, Amalfi Coast, Croatia, Florence? I'm not sure where else. And then we end in Rome and we spend some time there. Okay. Oh, here's the sentiment I was gonna do. Look at that. I was going to do the With Love here and use vellum as the shadow. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, let me show you. So this is the With Love that's from that holiday sentiment die set I showed you earlier. Most of the sentiments are holiday themed, but this one, this With Love, I felt could be used all year round. So I cut the shadow from vellum, and then the With Love is stacked with gold. And here are I kept the little dots for the eye. So you could do the bold black if you prefer, but I'm doing the, I'm gonna do this one because it's a little softer, but you could do either. Boop, there we go. So there is the sentiment. There are the flowers I was looking for earlier. See, I wanted to have one of them be dark, light, medium, dark, but oh well. So I could do that, or if you want it to stand out more, you could put white underneath and add that on there. There, I had it all prepped. I forgot. All right. So there's that. Now, I did want to show you some of the other thoughts that I had, but I'm not going to have time to make them all. But let's do a little play time here, because I want to use these frames. I have been to Venice, Amalfi Coast. I've been to all the Italy places, but I haven't been to Croatia. Rome is one of my best friends. I will have a pre-recorded video. I have to do that tonight. I filmed it, but I haven't finished it. How's that for pathetic? I have to take the photos, do the voiceover, all that after I pack. because I have to load it up because there is no way I could load a video on the cruise ship. It's just, the internet's too slow. Okay, so I'm using the decorative frames. Yeah, we're, for Amalfi Coast, we're not doing up on the hillside this time, because we've done that. We're doing by boat, which I'm very excited about. Cruise isn't always the best way to travel Europe, because you don't get to go into the nooks and crannies of places. However, when you're with a bunch of people, it's very easy. Okay, so I die cut first with the embossed frames, and now what I do is I open up my embossing folder and I lay the die cuts into the pattern. They just kind of lay into the opening. I wanted to show you how I created these and what my plans would be with these cards. Drink, because we already used this folder once. Okay, so they're in there. Now I run it through. Mike, will you get me a LaCroix out of the fridge down here? Yeah, I'm a little anxious today. I don't know why. I don't usually get anxious with travel, but it's not about the travel. I'm just anxious. But look at how pretty this turns out. Look at the detail. Isn't that gorgeous? Now you don't have to use metallic, but it looks really cool in the metallic. Isn't that neat? So much better than just a plain die cut. This one's even more ornate. See that? Gosh, that's pretty. What time is it? 5:15. I don't think I have the time, but we'll. What do I have? Oh, I've got a lot left. Okay, so I already created some frames here, and what I was thinking of doing, thank you, Mike. Colin just texted asking me how my foot is. Okay, what I was thinking of doing is putting the square one cattywampus like this, and then do like a blue flower at the center. Oh, it's so pretty. Like that with a few leaves peeking out. Or maybe both of them work really well with this. See how just some, or you can have it behind it. That's cool too. Or have some of the petals stick out. I think I like this with this and then some petals. This is what I was thinking of doing, but I'm not going to create it because it's just gluing things together. So I'm just kind of telling you what I would do because I have more things I want to show you. So I would do that kind of thing. Maybe there, like that, okay? Then right here, I would do a sentiment that goes at a bit of an angle. And that is a much simpler card than everything else we've done. So like, let me find my sentiment that I was thinking of. Hold on. So like this tiny little thinking of you. You could just stamp that, or like, you could even do just a note to say hello. And it would be right at a little angle right here. Or if you wanted it straight, you could. Or you could move this down and have it like an angle there. That would be fun. Something different, you know what I mean? Like just changing it up. But really any sentiment along that flat edge. And if you prefer it to be square, you could do square and just do a sentiment underneath. Isn't that fun? All right, so that's, and you can do it with this frame too. But it doesn't have to be the flowers, but I thought it was just another way to kind of create a focal point. I really like these frames. So we used the frame on the clear card that I lost already. Mike, what's wrong with me? Here's the clear card. I might, and I'll show you another idea for the frames later. Let's see, remember how we embossed on the acetate? Really cool. The square is neat. I like this. Yeah, you could either have it square, you could have it down, like hanging off the card, like we did before. I like the diamond. Sound effects help. See, I like that. And I probably would use this press plate, the Making Moments press plate, with a light blue ink on the background. Or, hold on, look at this. This would be cool. So I made that flower from ultramarine cardstock from Spellbinder, or from Altenew. If you did it on the slightly darker azurite cardstock, look how cool that would look. That's striking. Then you could white heat emboss a sentiment there. Wouldn't that be pretty? Yeah, the frames are great. Gorgeous, gorgeous frames. So you can put a little stamped image in there, lots of different things that you could do. The pink cardstocks I used for my pink flowers were Altenew Pink Diamond, Puffy Heart, and Rubelite. Those are the pinks that I used earlier. And then I just inked them up. Hi, Nicole. All right, so there's another idea using those. Lots of ideas there. Lots of pieces to save. I think I should step away from the Gerber Daisy now. I've got a lot of them ready to go though. All right, okay, let me put these out of the way. I will admit, not much room to put them out of the way. Okay, let's do the tree next. Change gears, and then we'll do the poinsettia if we have some time. Okay, let's do this tree set because I love the trees. Altenew has a lot of beautiful layering tree sets, and these are keyhole also. Okay, so I did some prep. Let me show you what I did. So we have all of these layers. We can follow the guide here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a little keyhole shape that you line up. So I did my tree trunk. I actually did 3 of them. You'll see why in a moment. But then I also cut the other layers from different shades of green. The top layer, which would be layer number 5, I'm doing from white because I want it to be snow. Okay? Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so I did 1, 3, and 4 from greens. I did the tree trunk, which is 2 from brown, and then 5 we're going to do from white in a bit. Now, I thought it'd be fun to add some texture to these die cuts. So instead of flat die cuts, I added some texture to it. I'll show you how I did it. See how there's texture to those die cuts? Perfect for a tree, right? This is that embossing folder that I showed you that comes in the Craft Your Life Window to Stillness bundle. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. So this comes in that bundle of Windows to Stillness. Now when you run it through, you get a texture. I'm going to show you, both sides are good. Hopefully you can see the, come on. See the texture? It's a fun texture that just would work with just about anything. Yes, you could do this tree in all the different seasons. So this folder that does textures is Windows to Stillness. It's in the Windows to Stillness Craft Your Life bundle. All right, so what I did is I cut the 3 layers of green. And after I die cut them, I just laid them into this embossing folder and ran it through. And that gave that fun texture to those die cuts. So now we're going to glue them together. So we'll start with number 1. And remember, the die also next like embosses the layer number, so it's easy to figure out. But this is layer number 1, and usually the lower numbers I do with darker color inks, the higher numbers I do, or sorry, with darker color cardstock, and the higher numbers I do with lighter colors of cardstock. Now you could ink these. I am not inking these. I just wanted to do plain cardstock with that fun embossing folder on it. So that's layer 1. Now the next one is layer 2. What's probably hard to see is there's a keyhole there. Let me show you. See, there's a little keyhole here. It's a shape of an arrow, and there's some on here too. So what I'll do is I'll put glue down, I'll put glue just right here, and I will lay this right on top. And I'm lining up that arrow. And then I will just go and I'll put some adhesive behind here. Here's the thing. If you're just gluing this onto a card, you could have put glue around all over the back of that tree trunk, but I want a standalone tree, okay? Another thing you could have done, is put Altenew double-sided adhesive sheet on the back of your cardstock before you die cut. Then these would be stickers that you just stick together. And remember, you get 40% off with my code if you want to do that. So there's layer 1. Layer 2 is the tree. Layer 3 is this guy here. Let me pop these little bits out. So let's put glue on the back of this. I'm doing this pretty quickly because I want to save time. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you have a question about subscribing and how all that, tag Altenew. Somebody is here from Altenew. I believe it's Mitzi. Nicole was here. I don't know if she still is. So they can help you with that. Now this lines up with the die cut you have below very easily. See how it just lines up? Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I did them out of order, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go with it. Schwink. This is layer number 3. I did the wrong color order of leaves, but that's okay. This should be the medium green. I messed up. Yeah, we're gonna put moonstone for the snow. Of course we are.
Nicole's still here.
Nicole is here. Nicole can answer questions. Okay, let's try that again. This is layer number 3, and we line up the little arrow, but it's also very easy to just line up with the layer below it. So this one should have been a medium color, but I didn't do it right. It's okay. It'll look just fine. All right, let's put that up there. So you can see how they just kind of fit on to what you've already got. Again, this would all be easier if you just glued it directly onto a background, but I want a freestanding tree for the design that I'm doing. Okay. Now it's this one. Am I doing this wrong? I feel like I'm doing this wrong. I am. I had it right. Oh, and here I'm tearing it. Jennifer. I told you guys I was frazzled. Sorry. I did that wrong. You do not need the tree. I should probably recut this one because I just tore it to pieces. I will. Let's do this. This is the next one. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Lack of sleep. I could not sleep last night. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, I was doing that wrong. Okay, now see, that goes on much better. See how that goes on there? And there is a keyhole there. Mine's just closed up at the moment. I didn't pop it out. There we go. Much better. I couldn't see my keyhole, so that I didn't pop it out. That's why I thought I was doing it wrong. There we go. Now that next layer, I'm gonna recut it because I tore it to pieces. So you're gonna get to see me do it again. So this is layer 4. Let me recut it and I'll do the embossing folder on it and you'll see it. Sorry about the wrong order there. Yeah, lack of sleep is rough. Last night, my ring said I got 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's a bunch of baloney. Okay, so here's my die cut, the last layer before the snow. And I'm gonna put it in that embossing folder. So all you do is you throw it in there. I actually, the first time, put multiple pieces in there. Run it through as you would any regular 3D embossing folder. Even there, it's fantastic. Oh, listen, Faye. I mess up more than most people, I assure you. I assure you. Ask Mike. Oops, I already tore it. Yeah. Now there is the keyhole on this, but you can kind of follow the shape of the tree. I like to start usually at the top and work my way up, or the bottom and work my way down, but see how it just falls right onto what you've already put down? See? Isn't that pretty? And then this one goes on the bottom. This just tore when I took it out. And this one goes here. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So there is another layer, which you could do in a lighter green, or you could have done these in like a mix of fall colors. You could do whatever. You could add tiny little flowers on here and make it kind of a spring thing. Nobody said your tree has to exist, but what I did is for the last layer, layer 5, I cut from Altenew Moonstone Glitter cardstock. All right, and then I can glue that right on top and it'll look like snow. So this piece here goes on the top. I'm just following the picture that comes with it. See, it just lays right up there. It matches. Look at that. And then this one goes along the bottom. So I'm just following the picture. And this one goes here. So this is Altenew Moonstone Glitter cardstock, my favorite white glitter cardstock. It is white without like an iridescent look to it. Like it doesn't add color. It just stays, it's just white. So it works with anything. It's great for snow. Look at that. So this doesn't have to be a holiday card by any means. And remember, I showed you at the beginning of the video lots of different things that you could do with this. You could do, there was like a little deer you could add. I didn't do any of that, but there are a few more little bits here. I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to do a little bit. Okay. I think this one went out here. Yep, there we go. Okay, so there's more. I have a little piece here, but I'm just going to go with that. See how pretty that is? Now, I want to do a special card with this. I love that tree. He's so pretty. Now remember earlier that window of stillness, I showed you, you could make like a window, have this on the inside and a window on the front of the card showing through. A lot of different things you could do. But what I decided to do was try to use I may use the deer from here, but I'm not sure. This is the Snowy Footpath 3D embossing folder. Let me think. Got to make sure I do this right. And I will use that Azurite cardstock again for my background. Azurite cardstock. I'm going to cut it to be, I'm going to do 5.5 by 4.25. And you'll see I'm going to change things up. But this is the Altenew Azurite, which I love this blue. I showed you a peek before. I'm going to put that into the Snowy Footpath embossing folder. I think I'll put it over to the, to the right. Mike, what are we doing for dinner?
No idea.
Okay. Let's put this through. Oh dear. That's a bad sign. This would be a great Christmas card. I mean, really, you could put this on a white card with a simple sentiment and it would be stunning. The frames would be fun, kind of offset behind it. There are a lot of great examples over on Altenew. Altenew is really good about hiring a lot of designers to make samples. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Now, if you wanted to, you could like rub a little white pigment ink over this, but I want it to be subtle. I want my jack pine tree to really stand out. Isn't that gorgeous? The blue is cool. I'm telling you. The azurite and the ultramarine. Here's ultramarine and azurite. Beautiful together. All right, now let's get a top folding white note card. I think I'm going to cut this to be at an angle. Okay? Let's see if this works. Okay. I'm going to cut. Should I do an angle or straight across? I'm going to do an angle. What the heck? Let's just wing it. Let's go about like right there. I just cut a little bit off the bottom. Now, this will get glued to the top of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch top folding white note card. For this particular card, I recommend top folding. Uh-oh. What's wrong?
Someone asked what flavor you were drinking.
Oh, the LaCroix I'm drinking is black raspberry with Z's. Just sometimes I like to have it. Yeah, the footprints are fun, aren't they? All right, let me turn this down. You won't be able to see the footprints much on my final card, but that's okay. It's not much of an angle. Do a little more angle. All right, so now I'm going to open up my card and cut the front of the card at the same angle. In fact, I'm going to cut more of an angle. There we go. There we go, there we go. Okay. So now we have that. All right, front of our card is at an angle. And this is where Jennifer hopes it works. Come on. I ruined this piece, hold on. There's blue on here and I want to use it. A little bit of blue cardstock, so I'm going to cut a new piece to be at the same angle. Because I'm going to use it and you'll see why. So if that wouldn't have had adhesive and blue on it, I would have kept it. I'm just going to cut a new piece. There we go. So this will get glued to the inside, but I want texture on this. So what do? I like the limoncello too. I'm going to use that texture from the Windows to Stillness 3D embossing folder that comes in the Craft Your Life bundle. I'm telling you, that Craft Your Life bundle is fantastic. I don't always use them because I know it's an investment, but the amount of stuff in it this time, like that you can use in different ways, is just so good. Okay, so I want to show you. It kind of has this snowy feel too. It could be anything. One of my favorite things to do when I do like a stenciled background is to use like a texture embossing folder or press plate that just adds some texture to it to make it look like fabric. This is a folder that would work for that. So now I'll put glue on the bottom of that, back of that, and glue it to the bottom inside. So at the top you have that scene, at the bottom you have the snow. Tree. Okay, now I want my tree to be here, and the front of the card is going to stand on this trunk. I did not use a super heavyweight brown cardstock. It was a scrap that I had. So I want to make sure that my trunk is stronger. That's why I cut 2 additional ones. So I'm going to put glue, put these 2 together. I'm going to cut the branches off of it, but I'm gluing 2 of these 2 together here. I need strength to my tree because it's going to be the front of my card. So I'm just making my trunk stronger. So this is just the trunk. Stronger, okay? And I'm gonna glue that to the back. So I'm gonna put glue on here. So now this little bit of the trunk sticking down here is nice and strong, okay? Clouds would be great here too, yes. If you want this to be softer, you could do like a soft blue up here. You could do a snow. That scene, the stencil scene I showed you earlier would be beautiful. I'm gonna do that, like that. I think I may do this. Let me test it. Doop-a-doo, doop-a-doo. I think this might look nice right along here. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so let's put liquid glue. This is just a thin strip of Moonstone glitter cardstock to match the snow. And I'm putting it right along the bottom edge here. But I cut two. I'll show you why. The other one's going to go right along the top edge of this, so it's got a nice finished look on the inside. See? Can't really see this in the video, but I'm telling you, this, the texture and the glitter there, come on. Can you see the texture and the glitter? It's just so cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're all here. Here's the thing. I appreciate that you take the time to be here. I appreciate even more when I start out by saying I'm frazzled and I'm not sure how it's going to go, and you stick around. So I appreciate you. I didn't really glue it right up to the edge. Let me trim that off. Mike, can you text Colin and tell him my foot is much better today? Last night, it rivaled the pain of rotator cuff surgery. But today, it's fantastic. All right, so it's gonna get glued there on the front. So, glue on the top, back of my tree. I'm gonna lay it down, so there's no glue on the bottom, so that I can lay it down here, and that has to line up in the bottom, because that's what my tree will stand on. Now I gotta get a little glue under here. Hold on. That's my magnet to hold it in place. Look at that. Okay. Sentiments while we do that, while that dries. Oh, I could add little Mr. Deer here, standing here. It'd be cute with a little red nose. You could have the deer standing there. I mean, he would look really cool there, but I'm not going to use him. But he would look neat there. Okay. That is from the Forest Friends. Then, what am I looking for? This set. Remember how I said I really like the Winter Woodland? That background? That background will be fun on this too. But the sentiments really get me. I like the style. Sending cozy woodland wishes, which work with a lot of this. May your holidays be warm and cozy. Winter hugs to you and yours. Sending winter magic your way and season's greetings. And there are dies to cut them out. So, what I did off screen, because Jennifer was prepared, and let's be clear, Jennifer prepped this earlier in the last week. Jennifer never preps that early. But Altenew is really good about getting product to me early, and so I was able to. See, it's going to be able to stand on that. Okay, so sentiment. I did white heat embossing on the Azurite cardstock, and I can do winter hugs to you. You can do it straight, but I like it at an angle too. I'm all for something different. The grocery store cards rarely are at an angle. This fits right into that little nook there of the tree. So you could do that. These are all from that set. But I'm gonna go with the winter hugs to you and yours. But I'm gonna pop it. So I cut 2 extra die cuts. Again, just white embossing powder. And the reason I did it not on the background is because I wanted to pop it up over that texture. So I'm going to put it like yeah, I like the angle too. You could also do a sentiment down here. It doesn't have to be in the blue. But look at that. Now, you could do a few things. If you want snow falling down, you could die cut tiny little dots of the moonstone and have those scattering down. Another thing, here's the other one I did. It's similar. This was my practice run. I'll finish it. On this one, I left a little white trim around the front, just a little different. The one that I showed you was definitely easier to do. But on one of them, I'll show you what I'd like to do. Mike, can you add the acrylic marker set from Altenew?
Yep.
This one I'm going to do straight right there because it kind of fits in that little nook. Just showing you two options. Okay. White acrylic marker from Altenew. They have 2 packs of acrylic markers from Altenew, a bunch of different colors. Both of them come with a white. And you can press hard and get a bigger dot, or press lighter and get a smaller dot, and you can have, here's the thing, if you like to do splatter or spatter, you go do it. Here's the thing, I have issues. And so, did you text Colin?
Yep.
Okay. So I fake my spatter or splatter. Listen, whatever floats your boat. We're all here to find our joy, and my joy does not come in spatter or splatter. It does not come in coloring images either. But I know many people it does. So there's 2 versions. I do like the dots. I do like the dots. Yeah. And then you got that texture in the background. It doesn't show up great in the video. Yeah, you could use little gemstones. You could do whatever, but I'm digging these little white dots. And this acrylic marker, you don't have to pump it, you know. It just is joyful and it doesn't run out. And like my gel pens, their silver and gold are fantastic too. They're permanent silver and gold pens. Look at that. I mean, come on. This would be a great job for a kid. Or Mike, you could do this. I could make a bunch of these cards and you could make little dots. That's crafty-ish.
Okay.
See, he could do this. And I make some of them bigger and some of them smaller. That way they don't have to be perfect. There we go. Done. Isn't that fun? Okay. So the sentiments are from Winter Woodland. The tree is Jack Pine. And the embossing folder, I don't remember. Embossing folder. It is the Snowy Footpath. But hold on. On this one, I didn't do the embossing folder on the tree parts. On this one I did. And look at how it changes it. Now granted, the white glitter paper covers a lot of it, but see the texture on this tree on the left? I really like it. Yeah. What does the inside of the card look like on the top? Oh, like that. That doesn't bother me. Oh, I would also go and do another little sentiment right here in dark blue in azurite ink, right above the glitter strip on the inside. That doesn't bother me like that, but you can see it'll just, let me get an envelope. I'd probably do a white envelope with this. Yeah. This is a white metallic, so it's got a little shine to it from Simon Says Stamp. But this is what it looks like standing. Isn't that cool? It kind of looks like it's floating. Come on. Hallmark doesn't do that. For a Altenew 3D embossing folder, and the Empress, I do a clear plate, the embossing folder, the magnetic plate, and the metal shim, and run it through. So basically you're skipping one of the clear plates. Because basically a 3D embossing folder, most 3D embossing folders are about the thickness of a clear plate. Nice is beautiful too. Not going this time though. Yes, the frames work, embossing folders work great with glossy cardstock. What do I stitch on? Some folks are asking what I stitch on. I stitch on paper using Altenew's pegboard dies, and I also stitch on felt using Pashta Designs, and I'm taking both with me. All right, so there's that. I have no idea where all my cards went. Mike stole them. Okay, let's see what we got, what we have times for. Oh, let's stamp. Oh, I've got so many more things I want to show. Darn it. Okay, let's do some, did you see it? How do I store the acrylic markers? I keep them in the case, laying flat. The white one I do keep separate here in my drawer with the tip down. I don't know. I don't even remember how I made this stinking card. It was so long ago. All right, let's stamp. I never stamp anymore. We're gonna do a little movement with the ornament from this great set. Can you go back? This is the Holiday Adornments. All right, I'm into blue. Maybe I should make this card not blue. Maybe I should do it, no, I'll do blue. You could do red and green, but, okay. Cardstock. We're gonna do an ornament and a bow from the Holiday Adornments layering set. You start with layer 1 of both. Now, if Brianne is still here, she probably could quickly find a link to videos I've done with mass producing of layering stamp sets if you wanted to make a bunch of these. Lots of great tips and tricks in that. I'm just making one right now, okay? If you are doing a lot of stamping on die cuts, I recommend die cutting first, making a jig and doing your stamping next. I've done many videos. If you do Google, if you do a YouTube search on my channel or on my website on mass produced, lots of videos will come up, okay? But this is a fantastic set. I am using this color family called, I don't know. It has Iceberg, Eastern Sky, Ultramarine, and Azurite. Remember, I like the colors of cardstock. I will not be using the Iceberg. I'm using the 3 darkest colors. So this is Eastern Sky. I'm gonna do some fast stamping here. And I am doing the first layering image. Oh, I had stuff on my stamp. It doesn't matter. The first layering image. So if you look at the stamp set, it says here D1, and it says next to the bow C1. So I know it's the first layer. There is a layering guide on the inside, but I don't think you need it, okay? So you can see the layering guide here, it tells you. As with die cuts, when you layer die cuts, lapis, okay, see, there you go. As with layering die cuts, I start with the darkest cardstock on the bottom and work up to the lightest. But with stamping, I start with the lightest first and work up to the darkest. So the lightest color I did was Eastern Sky. I like, when I do stamp layering, I like to heat set my ink between layers. It gives you crisper results. You get less of the bleeding on the edges. Totally up to you, but if you are one of those who has issues like me, try it. Okay, the second one lines up very easily. So this is the second image for the ornament, and we'll do the second image for the bow thing. That's what they call a bow thing, okay? So I'm going to the next darkest color, which is ultramarine. So we'll ink up with ultramarine. This color should win awards. So we'll stamp that. I'm a double stamper. Okay, look at that. Oof. So it's starting to come to life. That ink comes off the stamps very nicely. I like to heat set that because it keeps it crisp. If you want it to kind of blend a little bit, you can. Just leave it. But you're putting so much ink onto the stamp, or onto your cardstock, right? You just stamped 4 layers of stamps on here. So giving it that time to dry is very nice. So you don't really oversaturate the paper. Now, final stamp. This is the third layer. Hold on. How many grays do you count, Mike?
I'll go back. I'm still counting.
Oh, so funny. Did you hear him? Can't count
In order
that.
to go back, I'm still counting.
You can't count that
She's
high.
my sister.
Now, highest, or the last layer, the topmost layer, you do in your darkest color. So it's opposite from what you do when you die cut. This is the azurite. Look at that. Look at how that looks like a bulb, a Christmas bulb, ornament, whatever. Yes, this is a good one to batch make. Again, there are steps. I wouldn't go through and stamp a bunch and then die cut. It's easier to die cut first and create a little jig. But that's for another video. I can't do that today. Okay, let's cut these bad boys out. Oh dear. I have to find the dies. Are there any questions while I look for the dies? Oh no. Come on. Oh, dog. Oh! No one saw that, did they? Does the embossing make the pieces super... Oh, I forgot about my... Oh, I'm not done with the ornament. We'll cut out the bow right now. Does the embossing folder make the die cut super delicate? It depends on what what die cuts you're doing. I think it's fine. I wasn't very careful before. That's why one of mine tore, but it wasn't a big deal. Yes, the Better Press works with the Big Shot. From what I've heard, I've never done it. Look at that tiny white trim. I like that. All right, we didn't finish the ornament. There's more to the ornament. I forgot. Let me heat set them because we're going to heat emboss on top. You didn't see anything? No, you didn't see it, Barbara. Australia. I want to be in Australia. Wouldn't that be nice? We're going to do silver embossing on this bad boy. Now you could leave that bulb as is. I want to see if my ink is dry. The best way to test is to pour embossing powder on it, and if it sticks, that means it's not dry. Let me heat set it a little more, and we'll use anti-static. Yeah, the bow is fantastic, and that bow can be used on lots of things. I mean, it's a perfect size if you're making like a wreath on a card. It's okay. We'll use lots of anti-static here. Okay. Okay, anti-static. And then, oh, I should have lined this up first. Where is it? There's this layer here. There's also a topper for the ornament that's separate in case you want these details to be a different color than the topper, but I'm doing it all silver. So, stamp with Versamark ink or any clear embossing ink. Hope that you used enough anti-static. Add on the silver. I don't think I did. We're just gonna go with it. I like to heat set my embossing powder from the back to make sure it's nice and smooth. It does take longer, but it gives really nice results. Okay. This would be beautiful with like a red ornament with gold embossing powder. Okay, let's let that dry or cool. Now what I like to do here to remove that static, anti-static, make sure it's cool, and then I think this is the Altenew eraser. I just erase the anti-static residue away. And we have beautiful ornament. Isn't that pretty? Let's cut that out. Now, sometimes if you use, oh, I noticed I didn't completely heat emboss. There's a little bit that's not completely heat embossed. I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm gonna do in just a moment. Let's make this thicker. Double up those die cuts. For the technique I'm doing, I think it'll be fun. Now, sometimes when you use like an eraser or something over heat embossing, it can kind of dull it a little bit. So all you do is you kind of heat it a little bit again and it'll bring the shine back. This ornament would be really lovely if you did 2 layers of embossing powder, but I didn't. Okay, so there we have our ornament. Hold on, I'll hold it up. Isn't that pretty? Gorgeous. Okay. Now the ornament needs to be thicker for what we're doing. Is he still here?
Yeah.
Okay. We need to figure out dinner. Okay, so I just stacked those up a bit. Now, let's start out with a card panel. Let's get a panel here. I'm going to cut a panel. This is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. The background of my card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So there's a nice little trim around it. Ish. It's not really. I think one of those I didn't cut. Oh, this one I cut too. Here we go. Now we go. So the white I'm using is 4 by 5 1/4. Now onto this, we're going to do a little zhuzhing before we add our elements. Okay. First of all, I want a sentiment along the bottom. So I'm going to have a bow up here and an ornament hanging below. So I need a sentiment down there. Which sentiment do I want to use? Maybe I'll use the same one that I used before. Hold please. I'm just looking for options. Maybe I'll do one from this. With a heart full of gratitude. You could do a long sentiment from all of us. A long sentiment there. But you know what I think I like is the one I did on my first one. Let's do Season's Greetings. This is from that winter woodland that I used earlier. I like the style of that sentiment. So I'm going to put it like right about there and the ornament will be above. Okay, so Season's Greetings. This is from that woodland, winter woodland set that I showed you earlier. And I'm going to stamp this with the darkest color, azurite. Sentiments, I always stamp lightly 2 or 3 times. I think that's good. Aren't the colors pretty? Oops, I agree. Now, here's the vision. I'm gonna have a bow up here, a string, and I want the ornament to be able to move a bit. Okay, just a bit. So I need to create a little movement, and it's not hard. I just need a circle that is smaller than our element, which is that ornament. Let's do like this size right here. It is about 3/4 of an inch, I guess. I'm just going to lay my card down. I'm going to have a bow up here. I want my ornament to be like right about there. I think that's good. So I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to cut it into my background right there. This circle is just smaller than that ornament. Oops. Run that through. I'm into the blues. I'm into the blues. I have been for a long time, and I will continue to be. Okay, rub away that extra adhesive. Okay, I'm gonna get blue ink everywhere. Hold, please. I got some blue ink because my stuff wasn't dry, so I'll just use my paper sander. Sand away some of that extra blue ink that I think was on my cutting plate. Okay. Now, before I put my card together, I thought that embossing folder would be fun on this. So here's that Windows to Stillness embossing folder from the Craft Your Life bundle. I do a clear plate folder, magnetic mat, and the metal shim. Blue and cherry red. I love blue, this bright blue with just about any color. There are very few colors that does not look good with. Okay. So now see there's texture in our background, which just adds a little zhuzh, a little fun. Okay. Now I have, let me put this die cut away. I have here a little, another ornament. I'm just going to cut the top off. Okay, so this is another ornament die cut. And that's going to help me create some movement. Now, remember I showed you all of these dots before that I love so much? I told you that circle foam adhesive is something that is important to have in your stash, and I'm so thankful that Altenew has come out with these sheets. You're going to take one of these. I'm going to take the middle size. What I like to do is just hook underneath and pick it up with the tip of my craft knife. Don't tell Brienne, she hates when I do that. And this is a little extra circle. It's the same size. I'm going to put my foam circle right in the center. Okay? So can you see that little foam circle is right in the center? I'll put that behind. Well, you know what? Set that aside. We need to add string to this first. I'm just going to get some silver string. I don't know, I've got this old string. Cut a piece off. Best way to add it to the back is with tape. So I'm just going to put this on the back. No one will ever see it. I'm going to be over generous because I don't want this to come undone. You could also put a little drop of liquid adhesive up here at the top that would really hold it well. If you put liquid adhesive on there and let it dry, but I don't want to wait for that. So I'm just using liquid adhesive. Yes, the double-sided adhesive sheets, which I'm not using right now, are 45% off, so don't forget that. Okay, so see how it's got a little tape sticking out. You got some silver string coming out the top. You could also tie the silver string around the top there. Okay, back to this. That's a foam circle at the center. I'll lay it behind. Now, remove the release paper from your foam circle, and then take your ornament and put it right on top. Okay? So there's a movement. So it can move. Now we're going to control it so it doesn't go upside down. Okay, but first let's put it onto our card base and then we'll go from there. Kind of center that up. We need some foam adhesive. Let's get some foam adhesive. There are strips that you could get, but I'm going to use... By the way, Altenew has foam tape in black even. They've got lots of options, but I'm going to go with this big to save time. So let me just cut some of this off. I'm going to put one along the bottom. And I want ooh, it's going to hang off the edge. I didn't do a good job. I want mine to be thick. So I'm doubling up. This is the thin. So I think this is like 1/16 of an inch thick. So I'm doing 2 layers, so it's 1/8 of an inch total. What's going on up there? Mike? I think I'm going to use this. I don't want a ton of movement back and forth. Well, let's just do it this way. Give me a moment. Are there more questions?
Hold on.
Yeah, black foam tape is really nice. Like you could use it here so that if you look from the side, you don't see the white. It would kind of blend in with the blue better, but I'm being lazy. So, but I do want to double this up. I don't think you have to, but I am because I want the dimension.
Are the cardstock and ink from Altenew?
Are the what?
Cardstock and ink.
Yes.
Are they from Altenew?
Everything that I'm using here is from Altenew. Foam tape, the stamps, the ink, the die cuts, the cardstock, all of this is Altenew. And I'm doing this very messily. You know, there's lots of ways you could build up dimension. You could do strips of cardstock. I should have done this ahead of time so you guys wouldn't have to sit here and watch me. What'd you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. Okay. Altenew does have thicker versions of the not as wide foam tape, I believe, but I don't think they have it in this thick. Okay, so foam tape all around it, but see that circle has movement, has room. The Simon Hurley clear tape is sticky on both sides. All right. Now I'm going to put this onto this blue piece. This blue piece is azurite. Hold on, my head's going to go in the way. Normally I would put liquid adhesive on that foam tape so I could wiggle it, but I'm playing with fire. So see how that can move around? There's movement. Now our bow goes up here. So let's take this, and we want it to be, let's try it out. We put a little piece of tape up here, right at the center. I don't want it to be too tight, because I want it to be able to swing. See? But I want it a little higher, I think. Yeah, see how it swings? Now, all I have to do, cut that string off, add the bow. Now I made this so that my bow will hang off the top of the card. So I need to put it in a bigger envelope. But you could have done it lower if you wanted to, but I like it up here like that. So it's up, hanging off the top. All right. And the envelope that I'll use is an A6 envelope. A6 envelope is a bit bigger than an A2, so you can have things hanging off and there's plenty of room. So here is the card I finished earlier. I used a different sentiment on this one. This one is Happy Holidays, may peace and joy fill your home, is actually from the Holiday Adornment set. So this sentiment, this image, and this image are all from the same. But let me show you. It moves, and you have the texture on the background, and the cool 3D looking, but then it also swings. There's the bow at the top. All right. Now you could do like a red ornament and a green bow. You can do whatever you want, but I'm all into the blues. Have you ever made? Oh, the Simon Hurley tape, the clear tape, it can be a little sticky on the sides. So what I do is when I put it down, I use anti-static on the side. Anti-static powder. And then it's fine. Using colored. Have you ever made a card out of inked white cardstock without using colored cardstock stack? Yes, like for this blue piece, you could have just done white and dragged your blue ink along the edges, since that's all you would see. But I didn't. I don't know. You can, by all means. But isn't that ornament fun? I love that ornament. Red and gold would be fun. Somebody asked about putting press and seal on your magnetic mat for the Empress. I don't do that, so I don't really know much about it. I can do some investigation and mention it in a future live, but I don't do that. I know some people do to try to lengthen the life, but I've never had any problems, so I've never had a need to do it. Yeah, I like the blue too. You could do dark teals. That'd be gorgeous. But I love that. Yeah, what I like about this is it's kind of elegant still, but it has some fun to it because it moves. I did add clear glitter gemstones because I didn't want it to be too distracting. There you go. But I do think that texture in the background really adds for that embossing powder from Window of Stillness, Craft Your Life. Completely different look. Isn't that pretty? Those colors. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try one more thing. Two more things. What are we gonna get for dinner, Mike? Ask Lila what she wants. Should I go with the blues or should I change it up to reds and greens? Mike, do a voting.
Yep.
This is another product that I forgot to share with you that's new. I tell you, this release is killer. This is the Winterberry Poinsettias. It's a layering stencils and an embossing folder that work together, okay? It looks so much cooler than it shows in the photo, okay? So, yes, hold on. I forgot to show this at the beginning, but we're gonna use it now. When you, squirrel, when you double heat emboss, like when you wanna have 2 layers of heat embossing, you heat emboss, let it cool, then stamp on top with more Versamark ink, add more powder, and heat set again. I should be packing too. Ugh. Okay, did you do a vote? Red and green.
What?
Should I do this with blues and silver or reds and greens? Oh, people are saying reds and greens. The blue and silver is so pretty. But I'll do whatever you all tell me to do. Maybe. Maybe. So should I do this embossing folder in blues and silvers or reds and greens? I've done it in blue and silver. So I could just show you that and do it in blues and greens.
Reds and greens.
Is people saying reds and greens?
No.
Oh. Okay, that's fine.
It's very close.
It's very close.
So, don't have an answer yet.
Well, I'm gonna put this in here. You know what, I'm gonna do a bigger piece. Oh, I've done it already. Look at me. Look at me. Okay, so what I have here is this is a like a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 inch piece of white cardstock, the biggest I could put in here. I put it in my embossing folder and I ran it through, and you get this beautiful full texture. Isn't that gorgeous? I like to do the embossing folder first and then use the stencils. So I've done the embossing folder, let's do the stencils. What colors, Mike?
It's literally
Tied.
It's literally tied.
Yep. Whoa. It's going back and forth.
It's going back and forth. I'm gonna have to wait. All right, the stencils are all numbered. I'm gonna start with stencil number 1. And the nice thing about this folder is the pattern can go that way, like curve that way or curve this way. I'm gonna have mine curve on the top. I don't know why. It just sounded, I just thought that would be pretty. Okay. I'm gonna line this up. I'm working on my sticky mat, but there's not enough overhang because my cardstock's so big, so I will put my magnet on here to make sure it doesn't move. The magnet does hold through the sticky mat too. What does it say?
All right, I'm going to stop it here and we'll just see where it goes. See where it ends up.
I have to go by what they say.
Blues and silver.
Blue and silver. Okay, listen.
Blues and silver.
I can assure you, if you're looking for reds and greens, that this card has been, there's probably lots of examples over on the website of this in blues and greens. I promise. There has to be. That's my guess. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same as I did before. Same colors. Let's start with Iceberg. And I'm gonna warn you now, I'm not gonna do fancy inking. I'm doing quick inking, okay? So let's do quick inking of Iceberg. You can do beautiful blending of this. I'm not. I'm doing heavier towards the inside of the petals, lighter towards the tips. But you could do multiple shades over this. I'm not. So I'm hitting the poinsettias here first. Then these berries, I want those to be super dark. I think I do. I think I do. Let's see. Let's do, no, I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do them dark. Let's do azurite, which is the darkest in this set. So these you could do really amazing shading on this, but I'm not. But you'll see it's very pretty. Let's see. Sound effects always help. Are there people angered that I'm doing blue? Teal would be pretty. Okay, so there we go. I'm just gonna, just because I can, I'm gonna go in with a little eastern sky at the inside of these, just a touch. There we go. Oh, okay. Stencil number 2. The best part about this is I could leave all these stencils and they'll still have ink on them when I get back from Italy, because I do not have time to clean up tonight. Stencil number 2, I'm going to go a little bit darker, which means I'm going to do Eastern Sky. I'll do that. I'm going to do that a little bit heavy over these, the poinsettias. Heavy, medium, heavy towards the center, medium towards the tip. For reds, the perfect red color from Altenew is called Heartbeat. It's my favorite red. And the coral colors are nice too. Okay, so for the poinsettias over this, I did Eastern Sky. Then I'm going to come in with a touch of ultramarine at the center, which is just a little bit darker. Just to give it a little zhuzh. Then we have all of these berries, and I really, really want my berries to be dark. There may be regret for doing this, but I'm gonna try anyways. I'm going with Arctic Mountain, which is a different color family, but it's super, super dark. I'm gonna go with dark berries here. It's like a navy. I don't know. I could have done light. That would probably have been better. But whatever. All right. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's see. So good. Okay. See, the thing is what I like about stencils and, is that all of them? What I like about stencils and embossing folders is that you feel like an artist when you're done with it, but really all you did was put ink down. It's kind of nice. Okay, so this does the last layer of the poinsettias and then of the petals, and then the stems of the berries. So I'll go in with, I'm gonna go in with ultramarine here. Have I lost people, Mike?
Nope.
Are people out? Ultramarine. Oh, that color. You know, this is like a nice giant cup of gelato when it's 4 million degrees in Italy. But I've decided 4 million degrees in Italy is better than 4 million degrees in Cincinnati. Sorry, Mike. Mike just went to Japan, so I get to go to Italy now. Okay. Okay. Dark there. Then I will do a little azurite at that center. I don't feel like I'm an artist. Some people do. It's just with this, I don't. I think the reason I don't call myself an artist is because I know the Christina Werners, the Miriams, the, Jens and Tasneems of stamp designs, and I know they are the true artists, the ones who come up with these designs. I'm a crafter, but you call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. Okay, so this is Silver Shine from Lisa Horton. I don't think I have that in the supply list, but I have a brush for Silver Shine, and I'm using this on the twigs going up to the berries. Mike, you can add that if you want. The metallic ink pads from Lisa Horton. Okay, now we're almost done. Last stencil, but there's 2 parts to this stencil. These are nice because you can easily line them up. There's guides, but you don't need them. For this, I'm doing silver. This is the center of the poinsettias. You know what I'm going to do first? For the center of the poinsettias, I'm going to do that super dark navy first. And then I'm going to wipe that up. If I can find a cloth. I'm going to wipe up that ink, and I'll put silver over it. And I'll put the silver down light so that a lot of that blue shows through. Okay, so now silver over that, just a little bit, so it's a little shiny. Now, silver over the petal, over the leaves. You could do green, you could do gold. I'm doing silver. A pink poinsettia is lovely too. Any questions while I ink this, Mike? I love the silver over the texture. Oh. Okay, now there's one more part to this stencil. They squeezed 2 parts of the scene onto one stencil to save us some money. It means less stencils in the pack. So I just move it over. It's easy to figure out. There's embossed lines on the side, or etched lines on the stencil. What's question you got? Are you the original card demonstrator? Who has been doing it longer than you? No, there have people been there. The world of Stampin' Up. There were people who made cards for years. Christina's been doing it. Christina Werner's been doing it longer than me. I just became obsessed. Oh, there's this little bit here. I just became obsessed quickly. Okay. Let me hold it up so you can see it. Oh my gosh. Can you see? Look at that. See? The blue and silver's fun. Now, I could go back and forth about the berries and how dark they are. I do think I want some more dark up here. So even though there are no embossed berries up here, I'm just gonna lay the stencil down, put some dark berries up there, just to kind of balance it out, because I think I'm gonna use the full panel maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But by putting a few little berries up here, it will balance it out for me. Put some more up here. You know, some of us overthink things. There we go. It all worked out when we cut it. Hold on. How do I store my Craft Your Life product bundles? When there's a bundle, no matter what company I use, I keep them in one of these Altenew sleeves, storage pockets. They are 11 inches tall by 7.5 inches wide, and I can keep all of it in there. The big stamp set, the stencil, everything in there. And then I label it at the top. I haven't labeled mine yet though. Okay, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, can you go back to the normal mic? Now, there's a few different options. I can promise those stencils will still be dirty when I get home. This is one that I made quickly off screen. I went a little lighter with the colors, but I trimmed it down to be 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And I stamped a sentiment with blue ink from the Woodland Winter Sentiments winter woodland. Very simple. And then you could add some spatter or splatter, but I plan to leave mine as is. You can also add little dots with a, like a gel pen. This is the, or with a pen. This is the silver permanent marker from Altenew. This is a great silver pen. Here, I'll show you a piece of the blue. I mean, you can see how nice and silver it is. It's wonderful. So you can add little spatter or splatter, or you could do gemstones, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm gonna do fake kind of splatter that's controlled for those of us who have issues. And you could make it go on your flowers too, but very simple, nice and soft. Okay, so there's that. Another thing I thought about doing, now I want silver though, is to cut, you could get two, like, create a frame from it. So basically you would glue your frame down. I need the silver though. I don't like that gold on there. I mean, it'd be fine. It just, I have a few silver ones here. Remember these from these frames I made earlier? What you could do is like pick a spot, like right there, right? Like that. Glue it down and then cut around it. So you just have this, the poinsettia area in the frame, and then add it to a card. Then you can take another one and do from here, and you could even get another from here. So basically you're filling your frames with the poinsettia, and then you can get 3 cards from it. Right? Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Mike? Mike's not listening. It makes sense. Okay, good.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You see? So, or you could do it centered. It'd be fun. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is, since I started with the bigger piece of cardstock, you can go like this. Let's trim this down, make it 5.5. So you could cut this to be like, you know, cut it like right here, and you'd have this panel to go on a card, and then this panel to go on a card. So you could get 2 panels out of it. So basically, like cut there, so you have that along a card, and then have the other portion along a card. A lot of different ways you can use it. I don't know what I want to do. Oh, and you can use it sideways too. I just like this, but we'll cut it small. Let's do that. Shrink, shrink. I'm gonna make it shorter though. I'm gonna go 5.5 or 5.25. Then I'll cut this one to be 3.25. And then this one I'll just do whatever's left over. Look at that. So now look at those 2 panels you get from one. So like this you could do, and maybe do this on, do it like this, and then have a sentiment right there. Or you could do a technique where like the front panel of the card, the front half of the card cuts along that, and this shows on the inside. And then I think I'd like this like that. You could trim that and add it. So there's a lot of different ways you can use these pieces. But you also have you can always do this, where you glue that down over whatever flower you want and then cut around it. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, the blues are gorgeous. But there you go. So that's what it would look like in a card. Same idea. I just went a little more bold with my colors here. But by all means, you can do this in pinks and reds, whatever you want. And I have one more thing I want to show you. So I'm not going to finish doing those. I just wanted to demonstrate. Also, sometimes when you do a lot of inking on inking over an embossing folder background, what you can do is after you ink it, you could put it back in the embossing folder and line it up. And that will put more of that texture back in. Because sometimes if you saturate enough ink on the cardstock, it might want to lose its shape, the embossing folder shape, in which case all you would have to do is just run it through the folder again. I didn't do that, but you definitely could. I'm just adding like little details to my berries with the silver pen. Ooh, I like that. I'll show you, hold on. I haven't done them all, but let me show you. See little details in the silver, and then a little bit of silver at the center. It's amazing what a silver pen can do. I do want to show you one more thing instead of finishing these off. Are the frames made from metallic foil or from metallic cardstock? These, I showed how to make these earlier. It's just metallic cardstock. Now let me tell you, not all metallic cardstocks are the same. This is a good thing to point out. Good time to point it out. Hold on. I will show you. Let's see if I can find it. For example, I really like, I've used it for a long time, Altenew brushed gold and brushed silver. They have brushed copper and other things, but their gold and silver I love. And they're not super, super shiny. They're not as ostentatious as others. For example, this is Simon Says Stamp silver metallic cardstock. This is Altenew brushed. Now I like this shiny from Simon Says Stamp, but notice that the Altenew brushed is a little toned down. I don't know if you can tell that. It's not as mirrory as other metallic cardstocks. So just, this is if you want like a softer look, I really like the Altenew brushed. Christopher, I was talking about you earlier. Hello, hello. I saw you texted me, but I haven't replied because I have to go to Italy. I get to go to Italy tomorrow and I have not packed. Currently, I'll be naked. Sight for sore eyes. Okay. So, just so you know, so if you're over at Altenew, keep that in mind. Look, you might want to try out their metallic cardstocks. Brianne just put a link. There is a big difference between them. Good, I'm glad you could see it. It is a bit of a softer look, but it's still beautiful. Most of the time, that's the metallic cardstock that I use. A little more matte, yes. Okay, I just want to show you how these work. Oh, this is all a future Jennifer problem. This is the Lush Botanicals Poinsettia set. It's another keyhole set. You know how I like those. So let's make some. Somebody said they liked pink poinsettias, so let's do pink and red. So what you do is you open up the embossing folder, you take your die cut, oh dear, let's put some colored cardstock under it so you can see better now. You take your die cut and line it up in the opening, and then I put a little piece of tape to hold it there. This is just temporary tape. It's called Easy C tape. It's a fantastic tape. You can really be careful to make sure these line up well. I don't. Let me show you how well these work. And I am at the beginning stages of mass producing a bunch of these. Now, notice that I'm doing all of these in pink. When I want leaves, what I'll do is cut the same thing from green and create my leaves from the same die cuts in embossing folder. Okay, so I've lined them all up in there-ish. Run that through. Ooh, hold on. Everything's piling up in here. I have two magnetic mats stuck to each other. Okay, hold on. Just a second, one of my things moved in here. I'm gonna move it over and I don't wanna open it all up, but I'm just messing everything. It's fine, okay. Let's run that through. And then we'll do, I know, I told you I was very excited about this release. So now they all have the texture on them. Okay? See that? So let's do some inking, and we'll put one together. And I'll tell you the plans I have for these, but I'm not going to make them all. I just wanted to demo all these things. Keep in mind, a lot of the things that I demoed today can be done with other products. For example, the last one, any of your stencils, try doing non-traditional color schemes. It really makes a big difference. And add a silver or gold metallic ink to it. That usually will make it pop too. Any large images, you can make a card shaped from those large images, like the Gerber daisies I did before. A lot of different ways you can change all of these ideas up. Okay, so here are all my pink flowers. This is the Lush Botanicals Poinsettia. And then I'm going to use some of the leaves too. I cut from green. I'm not going to use all of them. I'll just use those. All right, so let me get some inks. I want to make this really pop. So I'm going to go with Coral Red and Heartbeat. I'm going to do Coral Bliss and Heartbeat. And then for leaves, I'll do Mountain Pine. Remember, if you are shopping at Altenew, that they have free shipping in the US for over $49. All this is in the YouTube description below. Then if you need Altenew double-sided adhesive sheets, which ironically I didn't use today, but I usually do, 45% off right now, so that's worth checking out. They also have lots of different products on sale right now. There's a whole sale category that's linked in the description below. And then you can also save on the Cozy Comfort Retreat that I've talked about in the past that I'll be teaching at. And they have some sneak peeks of what the products will be like if you want to check it out. So this is Coral Bliss I'm doing here. Then I will come in with the beautiful Heartbeat. That's the red I told you I like so much. We'll put some of that more towards the center, like that. Sound effects always help. Right, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. So you can make your poinsettias any color you want. It doesn't matter. Now for green, Mountain Pine. I'm just going to do one because not much of this will be showing. I'm not making this very careful, not trying to be careful here, just getting that color down. Okay, because most of that will be hidden. Okay, so now let's do the layering. There is a little T at opening at the center, and I know that I just need to line up the little holes. So that's layer one. I can follow the guide over here. Remember, it might not want to stick right away because it's still wet, but the ink is still wet on there, but it's okay. Lining up the T there. There's a little T hole there I can see through. And then I put a circle around the hole, circle of adhesive, and then put the next one on. That. Then the next one. Oh, and I don't have my flower centers done. How's that for not ready? But we'll do those in a moment. So there we go. So there's my poinsettia. Okay, now we can come in and add leaves. You can keep it whole, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do that and kind of come in and tuck in, like there. Here's one that I did before. I haven't done the center yet. Here, I'll keep this whole. There we go. Look at that. I'm going to spread this here. There we go. Look at that. Aren't those pretty? Now, there is a center bit here that you can, I'm going to do mine from some brushed gold cardstock quickly so you can see it. So I put a circle around the T's. Now you could add layers between those if you wanted to. Come on. Oh, there's an embossing folder for this part too, isn't there? There is. Yeah, there's to give texture to this. So I'll do one of them. Hold, please. See, there's a little up here. I almost missed it. It's right in here. Because it's behind the words, so I almost missed it. I'll do one of them. Sorry. Let me run this through and I'll show you. You could also use little gems here. You don't have to do the little center. Yes, extra texture for the center. Oh, it's so cute. It makes little bumps. Oh, okay, I'll show you. Hold on. But you always want to die cut first and then use the, oh my gosh, that is so cute. Hold on. See the detail in the center there? I know when Mike is tired, he stands up. Like, Jennifer, wrap it up.
Yep.
Are you hungry?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So that is the poinsettia. Now, remember the clear card I made earlier? Oh, by the way, I have a giveaway. If you want to be eligible, leave a comment in the chat. If you've already left one, you're already eligible. I don't know where my clear card went from before. Here it is. So you could do this same idea. Remember, this is that clear card, or the like invisible card base. You could do the same thing with the poinsettias. So you could probably even do 2 and then put all leaves, or you could do 3, kind of like, yeah, 3 would be good. Another one up here. And you could always chop the edges off if you want. But look at the detail to that. Add some foam dots under some of those to pop them up. Beautiful. All right. Giveaway. Mike, I gave you something to give away. Do you know what it is? So a lucky winner will get the jack pine tree. They sent me 2 of them so I can mass produce, but I think it'd be fun to give one away. So a lucky winner will get the jack pine tree. Yeah, I know there's so much. There's so much. But the Gerber daisy. And the tree, come on. I don't know. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Now you know why I went crazy. The pink is the Gerber daisy. I showed how to make those at the beginning of the video, about 24 hours ago. All right. So Mike will pick a winner here soon, because I need to pack. I am actually going to clean the blue off my stencils so that if I want to come use red later, it won't be stained. A little rubbing alcohol easily removes it.
People suggested that I do it for you when you're gone.
Clean my stencils for me?
Yeah, I was going to, but...
Aw, Mike was going to do that for me. He's going to be...
I'll do some work while you're gone.
No, he's going to be doing pinball stuff. All right. Yeah, a lot of different things. I told you, it's a great collection. I even emailed you guys earlier today to warn you, because it's just fantastic. A little something for everyone. So, Mike, do we have a winner of the jack pine tree?
Yes, we do.
Who is that?
Julie Denny.
Julie Denny. Julie, you are the winner. If you go to my website and click contact me and send us your address, we'll get this sent to you along with the handmade card. And Mike usually throws a bunch of other stuff in with it because he has no control.
I have pinned the message with the person's name if you have a question about that.
Wonderful. All right. My foot is a million times better than it was last night. it's not bothering me too much right now. I just can't move 2 of my toes yet. Anyway, okay. Anything else? All of the information is in the YouTube description below, so you can find it all there. I will not be going live for the next 2 weeks, but I do have lives planned after that. And I will have pre-recorded video and some other things to share while I'm gone. So thank you for spending this time with me. I threw a lot at you, but I appreciate you sticking around. I have blue fingers now, and now I gotta go find something to eat. Take care, have a good night.